All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining in this session that we have arranged for you as Ember Laptops. So I'll start by introducing myself. So here is Joram Munashe Mahindidze, commonly called Mr. Mahindidze, yeah, by people and even myself. So yeah, and we have organized for you this session, introduction to use of computers 1, so that we just give a highlight of basically someone is new to computers or to laptops and they are preparing bid for university or to use a computer in their life and they just want to know what are some of the things that I need to know. Some people haven't used computers. Yes, we have mobile phones, which are also part of computers. But when we talk about the big computers, like a desktop or a laptop, we have some who haven't experienced it and they are so anxious and afraid as to how best they are going to be using it or what they are going to do when they are given their first computer or their first laptop. So we are here to demystify all those things and to calm you down so that you actually know before you even possess one or you just want to advance your knowledge in computers. So we have prepared this slide for you so that you can actually get to know what we have here. All right. So we'll start with the brief profile of me who is going to be training you on this one. My name, I've said it, Joram Munashe Mahindidze. I have honors bachelor's in computer science from UZ. I am male, age 23, sales at 28 Ember Laptops, and currently, so you'll see the JCI logo on this slide. Yeah, I'm serving as 2022 JCI City Zimbabwe Vice President Business. It's an organization of young enterprising leaders between 18 and 40. And sure, let me know if you will be interested to know more about JCI, but also a brief about where I'm coming from, like the sponsors of this training, which is Ember Laptops. It's one of the biggest suppliers of laptops in Zimbabwe, currently based in Mount Pleasant, founded in 2019 and yet very aggressive in business. We have been selling a lot of laptops, hundreds of laptops we have been supplying to students, to companies, both brand new or second hand. And yeah, our target this time around is 1,500 laptops this year. If you hang out with us, you hang in actually this meeting, up to the end of this meeting, I'll tell you how many we have sold so far of the target that we have, which is 1,500. All right, so very quickly to our business. It's not going to take much of your time, this meeting. Okay, great. We are back. So it's not going to take much of your time. I think in 35 to 40 minutes, we should be done. And I'll also allow you to ask questions if you have some. So basically, these are quick introductions. If we have any members who are in who want to know what's your name, what's your favorite laptop brand, and why, and do you own a laptop yourself? So that's what we just. Yes, so that's basically what I would want you to share as you join in the meeting. I know some are late and they're going to join, but it's okay. So my name, I've given you my name. My favorite brand of laptop, okay. I unfortunately myself I do not have a favorite brand, but I can say I have been using Acer for the past 3 years. Yeah, that's what I can say. I've had 3 laptops and they are all Acer in the past 3 years. And that answers my third question, which is do you own a laptop? So it's a yes there. Okay, so I would want to hear your feedback as well as to if you also own a laptop and your favorite brand. All right, so if you have been noticing from the second slide, there are items that we have from each and every corner, and I've put them on purpose. So these are highlights. I just want you to identify some of these devices and things so that you actually know that's how basically you're going to learn. So in this one, we got the profile and everything. We have the mouse, like Kagonzo, yes, and we also have the mouse in terms of the mouse. So that we use an electronic mouse. Something is similar to these things, is a similar feature is they are small, you know, when you look at them, that kind of thing. But yeah, so we use a mouse on a laptop to move our cursor. So one is to know what this device is. And same as for the third slide, we have this pink thing, which is a keyboard. So it's a keyboard that we use to type. It has letters there. It has all the numerics, the numbers 1 to 9, 0, etc. It has enter, shift, caps lock, and many more. So just pay particular attention to them, to the corner things as well as we are doing our things. All right, now we are on to objectives of this training, what we are going to be learning and how we will achieve our goal today. So when we now know about computer parts and functions, it means our training has been successful. When we now know uses of a computer, our training is successful. When we now know Microsoft Office packages and in detail, it means our training was successful. When we now know what to consider when buying a laptop, it also means our training will be successful. And when we now have questions and we get answers to those questions, our trainings will have been successful. So basically, that's what we're looking at today. We are also going to just check around this little thing on that corner. We call it a USB flash. So it's a flash that we use to store or break up our files, be it video files, MP3 files, or what do you call this, document files. So they are found in a variety of sizes, 2 gig, 4 gig, 16 gig, 64, 120, just depending. They are backup, they can be your storage. All right, getting into it, getting deeper as we are now moving. We are now looking at the first subject, which is computer parts and functions. So those who have questions, feel free as we go on, just unmute or just raise your hand so that I assist you. So we are now looking at computer parts and functions. And when you look at that corner, we have a picture of computers and showing us different types of computers there, but we're going to look at it. So basically, what is a computer? That's the first thing that maybe one is worried. Okay, we are not talking about computers, but what is a computer? So a computer is an electronic device where data is input, processed in order to produce information. It's an electronic device where data is input, processed in order to produce information. So basically what we are saying is, I don't want to get deeper, but I just want you to have an appreciation of how a computer works. So a computer now as a device it does not read English, unfortunately, yeah. So what a computer does, it reads what we call binary data, which are zeros and ones. So these are numbers which are encoded into the computer, but when they are translated or compiled, they then give us information. So that's basically how it goes about. So what I can give you an example is, it's like in a bakery. We have flour, we have sugar, we have what. But you know what? We don't eat raw flour. We eat bread. So when we are talking about data now, we are talking about the flour, we are talking about the cooking oil. We don't eat cooking oil as it is. It goes through a process. It goes through an oven. And this oven is a computer, that's what I'm saying. And whatever that we get as output now as bread, as buns, as rolls, these are now information when we are talking about computers. So basically that's what it is. So there are different types of ovens, if we were to say. By that we mean there are different types of computers. And we love the results that computers show us, but we do not know or want to get into detail of the pre as to the data that enters and how it works and etc. No, that's not really necessary for us. What we need to know is how a computer actually works and how we can make use of the information that it produces. So what are the types of computers that we have? We have mobile phones, we have laptop computers, we have desktop computers, we have mainframe computers. Mobile phones these are the phones that we are using, from Kambudzi to the big phones that we have, going to the iPhones, going to the Samsungs, itel, you name them. We have tablet phones as well and iPads. These are computers as well. Then we have laptop computers, which are very common. Students own close to 65% of laptops around the world. So they are the biggest laptop owners and laptop users around the world. The reason being, you need portability. You need to carry your laptop to lectures and use it, and you need to take it back to wherever you stay. You need to study. You need to carry around with it. It has its possibility, and it offers functionality on a laptop, on a computer. The same is on the desktop. So it has a great advantage. You don't worry about battery because it has inbuilt battery and you can use it whether you have electricity or you don't have. It is lightweight and you can carry it from one place to another. It has a bigger screen that differentiates it from a phone. So this with the bigger screen with a bigger keyboard, it allows you to be productive and more efficient. So that's why basically laptop users are many students, because it's very convenient for studying. Very, very convenient. But we have also desktop computers that we find on those, and I'm going to show you pictures later on. We have mainframe computers, which are the big machines that we have, some working as servers, some we find them in big companies, and they have a lot of storage, lots of processing speeds, and they help us in different manners and ways. So if there's anyone who would have a question so far about computers and computer plants, let us know. Now we've been just talking about the computer, and now we get to the computer parts and how they function. So we'll start with the laptop and how it has its parts. So when you look at a laptop, usually in front, like what I'm using, is a camera. So we have a camera there which you use for videos, be it video conferencing or for taking pictures, or you decide, but we have a camera on laptops and it's usually in front. Some laptops have a back camera as well, like mine, but yeah, it's on rare occasions. Next is a top panel. So what we see is a frame there, which is covering a laptop, and that frame is the top panel. What we look at, what we read from, is a screen. This can be a touch screen or a non-touch screen, but we have a screen that displays things so that we are able to read, we are able to see, and we can control the screen brightness, etc. That's about the screen there. The next thing that we find is the keyboard, and the keyboard helps us to enter things into the computer. It's the keyboard whereby we type on it so that we are able to type, be it assignments, letters, etc. Whatever that we want to input, we use a keyboard to type. Then we are moving on to the base panel. This is a base panel whereby it's next to the mouse touchpad, but it's a base panel helping covering the whole laptop in terms of its surface. Then we have the touchpad. The touchpad is like the mouse. When we look at your laptop, it is where you use for navigation. So you move the mouse cursor, you click to select things using the touchpad. It's an alternative to a mouse, or a mouse is an alternative to a touchpad. When we look at the right side, we are then now shown this optical drive. Optical drive is a port whereby you put CDs or discs. So this depends on what you want to use, because we have different types of discs. We have some which are writable for documents, and some are writable for music, some are writable for even videos. So it all depends what type of disc. That's how we use it to play music, play videos, to play movies, to even presentations. We can record our presentations and put them on discs. So basically that's what we have there. The next one I'll quickly is something that is not shown there are USB ports. You're likely to see those. These are ports whereby you can actually put your flash, you can actually put your USB cable. These are also found on the computer. You will also find what we call an HDMI port. This is a port that you use for displaying to a projector or to a bigger screen. So you'll find that as well as you use your laptop. You also find an Ethernet port on some laptops. This is a port whereby you actually use it for internet. So instead of using Wi-Fi, you'll be using an Ethernet port, which is a direct connection from the laptop to a port that is a power source. Usually Ethernet ports, internet kind of internet is not disrupted by waves and etc. It's more stable and more faster usually. So basically that's how you use it in terms of it. You find that laptops now, some have inbuilt batteries, but some still have external batteries. So it's something that you also find. You also find SD card ports on your laptops. It's something that is not shown on this picture, but these are some of the things that you will find on a laptop basically as you look at it. So that's how a laptop is like. You close it, you open it, you see the keyboard, you look at the touchpad, you see the camera, you look at the screen, you look at the base, the battery, if it can be seen or inside. Basically, that's how a laptop is like when you look at a laptop structure. We have more components of laptops that we find inside the laptop that we are not going to spend much on time on because usually we don't get to see them, but we have some items in there, things like a motherboard, which you are going to know about later on as you are a computer user. We have things like your hard drive or your SSD. These are some of the things which are internal. However, helps you to use your computer. We are talking about RAM as well, which works around your speed because it stores data waiting processing or being stored, being processed by the computer. Okay, so basically that's around parts of a computer and how they work. If you have a question, feel free to ask as well as we proceed. Now we look at the basic parts of a computer in terms of a desktop and the setup. So here we have a printer. When you look here, so this is a printer. A printer is a machine that produces hard copy material from soft copy material. So we have this presentation that we are seeing is on soft copy. And when we want to have it on paper, on bond paper, so that you can actually touch it, you now have to print it. And a printer is the one that we use to print. A printer can also scan, a printer can also photocopy things, which is to duplicate things, something that you also need to experience. The next one is a monitor. A monitor plays the same role as the screen on the laptop. It is the display that you see when you are working on your computer. We have the CPU. So the CPU also is part of the computer, but this one is now separate from the laptop, like what we are saying. It is the computer itself in terms of the brains of the computer. This is where the main things happen here. The hard drive that I was talking about, the RAM that I was talking about, we find them in the CPU. And the CPU, those ports that we're talking about, the USB ports and etc. So power and everything comes from the CPU and it gets displayed on the monitor. The monitor is just a screen, a display, but everything happens around the CPU. Then we have the speakers. So these are some of the things that we use like mic, like etc. Then we have speakers. These are the audios that we use, especially for the CPUs. Then they started without sound. So now they needed external speakers so that they could produce sound. Different from the laptop because the laptop has inbuilt sound. So there is no really need for speakers because it can actually capture all the sound itself. Then we have the keyboard. The keyboard, we use it to type and we have discussed it. Now you see it's separate. Then we have the mouse. So the mouse is what we talked about, which is similar to the touchpad. We use it to navigate in terms of movement of the mouse and to click on items if you want to select things. So yeah, that's basically more all about computer parts and also on the functions of the computer parts. I'm ready to take questions as well if we have some, or you can just type in the chat box. Great. To our next slide. Uses of a computer. All right, so here I had to narrow it down in terms of a focus on education, basically, because I understand the audience for this presentation are students and they intend to use the laptop around education. But well, computers are used for different things in different fields. You realize computers are used in agriculture, they're used in mining, they are used in farming, they are used in business, they are used. Computers are literally used everywhere in clinics, hospitals. We have computers around the world, like in every place, in restaurants, in everywhere. Right now, we now have computers almost everywhere and performing different tasks. But what are computers used for, especially in the education? That's what we're going to be looking at and discussing right now. If there are any people who know what computers are used for, please feel free to unmute and also share in terms of what you know about computers and what they are used for. All right, before I get into detail, I just want to highlight that there is this small thing. I hope you managed to see it. Like I said, on those corners, I'm putting these devices so that you can actually be able to predict it. So type in the chat box what it is that you see. Yes, it's an external hard drive. So this is an external hard drive. It has the same functionality as a USB flash, but this one is a bigger external storage that you actually can carry from one place to another. So all the files of yours, or the movies, or the documents, or the education material can be on your hard drive. And these are now stretching from 500 gig, 1000 gig, up to even 10,000 gig or even more, actually, because these carry a lot of information. Right, so back to our focus, which is uses of computers. We have assignments writing. Many people use these computers so that they can actually write their assignments. It's pretty much easy there because you have your applications that you use and you have your laptop, and it will be much faster to type and submit those assignments using the laptop or a computer. Exams writing. We now have exams being written online, or not even online, but written on soft copy without those papers, and you're asked to save on a flash disk and you submit. So it's something that you also need to, because the questions are coming, and this reduces the expenses of printing and etc, as people can just write the exams and they send them as a soft copy. Online research and internet, it's something that I feel many people are not sure of, but we use computers for internet and for research. We have Google, and Google is available to assist us in our researches. We have Google is a web browser, we have many other web browsers, but do not be shocked when you are given a laptop or a computer and you are not sure how best you can actually start to use a computer over internet, because here is a short demo of basically what you need to do. The first thing is you need to have a Wi-Fi connection, of course, or a sort of connection using data that will actually help you to navigate. So here is how best you can actually do it. So when you go on the icons, it shows you here about Wi-Fi. So you can use your phone hotspot, or you can connect it to your home or a school Wi-Fi. There is a browser. It depends. Myself, I am using Google Chrome, but some use different kinds of browsers for different issues and for different needs. So when you are here, it's an open platform whereby you actually search whatever material that you intend to search, because it's internet. It's not limited in terms of what you want. Okay, let's talk about introduction to use of computers. It's something that you can actually Google and say enter here, and you actually get your results. This is basically how you actually research. This is an example. I just used introduction to use of computers. You realize there are many things that you can actually use it for in terms of research, but I do not want to draw much on that because it's not only focused. But basically, that's how easy it is to connect it to internet and to start researching using your computer. I'll move on to the next one, which is reading and studying. So now things have changed, really changed. I know we used to, yeah, some people still do, but we used to have those big books, introduction to mathematics and what and what. And these were hard, big, very big books, this thick. But now we have these books in our laptops and we can actually study and read using our computers. So this is makes things easier, number one, because it's much cheaper because you now have the books with you inside your computer and you can actually share the books. The moment one has bought a book and it has been bought online, that same person can actually share the book with other people so that they can actually use the same book at a free cost. That's how cheaper or how easier it becomes. So people can actually communicate around that. Then sharing of files, it's easier to share files when you're using computers. We have your items and you used to have those discs and it was difficult to share the discs because you'd be afraid they might be scratched or it is, but now it's easier. Information in this computer can be shared to the next computer using a hard drive, using Bluetooth, using ShareIt because of the technological advancements. You can be watching videos and tutorials using computers, something that you also have. We have listening to recorded lectures, be using audio tapes. So this is something that you also have. Then writing and making presentations is another thing. Then taking notes is also another thing. We have online discussions as well. So this is something that you also need to take note of. We have skills development, graphics design, coding, you name it. These are things that are available or accessible to you the moment you start to own a computer. Then we have communication. We have computers being used for different communication. We have emails, we have Skype, we have Zoom like this, and Zoom is also used for meetings. We have social media. You can access your Facebook, your WhatsApp, your Instagram using computers. We have other things like applying for scholarships, applying for attachments, applying for jobs, doing interviews. These are now being done using a computer. So actually this gives us a wide range of uses of computers that we can actually get to in terms of how big it is that we can do with computers. So if you have any questions, feel free to let me know in the chat box so that we look at those questions and we answer them. Then we have this part which I talked about. So basically we have talked about the introduction to use of computers, but yeah, we have this other part that I want us to take note of, which is the part of Microsoft Office packages. All right, so MS is short for Microsoft Office, which is a company which is owned by Bill Gates and was developed by Bill Gates that develops the commonly used applications on all computers, especially on desktops and laptops. So on this one, we are looking at Microsoft Word, Microsoft Excel, Microsoft PowerPoint. We have other, which is Publisher, Access, Outlook, etc. So these are basically the applications that are around us when we start to use computers. Yes, available on our mobile phones because our mobile phones now, I said, they are now computers, but these ones are more easier to use because you have greater display, you have greater keyboard when you are using a computer, and there are more functionality when you are using more functionality to them when you are using a computer. So let me explain each of these and also allow you to go and research around the other ones that I have left aside. So we have Microsoft Office Word, which is used mostly for typing. So when it comes to our assignments writing, when it comes to exams writing, when it comes to what do you call it, CV preparation, etc., we use Microsoft Word. When it comes to writing dissertations, reports, etc., we use Microsoft Word. Microsoft Word is a platform. Allow me to try to open it from here so that you just get an idea of what I mean by this. So Microsoft Word is an application whereby we use to type. A lot of things we use them to type around things. So we are typing documents, we are typing assignments, we are typing a lot of things. So basically, these are the icons. You also need to identify the icons so that you don't get lost maybe trying to access them. Okay, so let's wait for it as it opens. Okay, so when it opens, you open blank document here because you would want to Great, here we have it. So this is Microsoft Word, and this is how the layout is like. It shows us home, insert, and these different tabs. And we have a lot of functionality here that we need to use. And like what I was saying, we use it to type. So whatever you'll be typing, numbers, letters, etc., it gets to type. You, DA, good people. Okay. So whatever you do, it's really will be upon you, but basically this is how the application works and this is how it looks like. It is functionality, I tell you. We have under insert, we have under design, you can create tables, you can create charts. There is a lot that you can actually do. And yeah, that's about Microsoft Word for this presentation. No, we don't want to save this one. It was just a demo. Okay, and we'll close this one as well. I tend to close this one. Great. All right, so this was about Microsoft Word, and now we are moving to Microsoft Excel. Microsoft Excel is usually used for many things like accounting, marks recording, and related. So this one is a different actually layout, and how it shows is a bit different from Microsoft Word, but to some extent they are similar in terms of how they operate. Let me show you this one so that I demonstrate to you. Great, so this is how Microsoft Excel looks like. So when you look at the layout, it's a bit different because this one now we have grid lines, and this is how it looks like when, for example, we are talking about its use. Right, so we're talking about its use. So like I said, maybe this is for budget. So you have your income in this field. You have expenses around this field. And you have your numbers here, 33. So on this one, there is usually more of numbers. That's how it helps us. In choosing this one, we can actually do a lot of things. We can add file things. There's a lot that we can actually do. Very, very much that we can actually do. Okay. So basically I want to add the numbers and it adds automatically using this. So basically I'm not going to be teaching Excel of course now, but what I wanted to show you is we have Microsoft Excel and one needs to know how Microsoft Excel works so that they can actually apply it. You do recordings of a lot of things that you need. We have Microsoft Office PowerPoint. which is the one that we are using and that I'm using to present. This one, you use it to create slides like this one. So everything that I'm using here is around Microsoft. It offers you a good way of writing things in short and well outlined. It has good fonts, it has good displays, and the things are easier to display, like you can see from the screen. Then we have other applications that I want you to go and find out more about. So we have these, our Microsoft Publisher, Outlook, Access, which is database, and you would actually need to check around this, okay? Then we're moving on to the next one, which is to what to consider when buying a laptop. What to consider when buying a laptop. And I'm sure you've been seeing these things around the corner. All right, so that's an Acer. Yeah, I'm a bit biased towards Acer because that's the one that I'm currently using. But basically, this is what we're saying. So a computer is a valuable thing that one wouldn't want to make a mistake on whilst making a purchase, because it means for the next 3, 4, 5 years, you know what, you will be having regrets, and no one would want to have those regrets. So in order not to do so, one needs to know these things which I am now sharing at this point in time. So the first one is, I think you need to know your computer requirements, like for the intended use that you want to use the computer. One is to know if the program they will be studying require a big laptop with a big storage, or a small storage, a big screen or any screen, very fast or moderately performing laptop. So this depends with your requirements. So for you not to regret around a laptop, I think you need to know the requirements of whatever that you're going to be studying if you're a student, or whatever that you're going to be using this laptop for or your computer for. This will actually help you in terms of what the requirements are like. Being a salesperson now, for my past experiences at Ember Laptops, this has been my experience. We have some people who will be doing less, but they still want high-spec laptops. And yeah, it's up to you, it's your choice, but sometimes I think you need a laptop that meets at least the minimum requirements. There's nothing bad about you buying a laptop with higher requirements than you need. Of course, yeah, it means it can still perform. But the challenge is when you now need a laptop which have small requirements and which have small requirements, but your requirements are huge. That means you're going to have challenges with your laptop. But any laptop is good. Let me talk about the dual cores. Let me talk about the Core i3, because around the requirements, this is what usually people ask about. So what we have is we have these dual core laptops. What they mean is they have 2 cores and 2 logical processors. And basically these are the things that we use in terms of, they determine the laptop processing speed or power that it has in terms of how it operates. Okay, so it's a good laptop. Let me say, it's a good laptop. A dual core is a very good laptop. It can perform basic tasks around Microsoft Word and the application that we talked about. It can perform those tasks. You can watch your movies freely. You can download. You can read. You can do all sorts of things with that laptop. But let me say, when we move to a Core i3, which is an advanced version of this one, we move to a laptop which is a better in terms of its speed and in terms of its power. Okay, so this now Core i3 is now a recommended laptop for someone who says, you know what, I have download applications, I use more applications, and I need, you know, those a bit of more speed in terms of processing. And the Core i3 is recommended. And as we advance to say, you know what, I use more than 3 or 5 applications which I have on my computer. I'm using Java, I'm using Jump, I'm using different. Then it's recommended you move to a Core i5. You get what I'm saying? And the more you have more requirements, the more you have more applications that you run, the more you, it means you also, that's how big you also need a bigger laptop in terms of its processor. Okay, so it's the same as you move from a small car to say, you know what, the number of people can no longer fit in this car. We now need a lorry, or we now need a bigger truck, or a bigger car, a van, or you now say, you know what, we now need a minibus. Yeah, we now need a combi. From there, you're like, you know what, we no longer can fit. Yeah, it no longer has the capacity. We now need a bus. So basically, we're talking about capacity when we are talking about the laptop or a computer requirements. This is a short one. The next one is identifying a good supply of computers. So what is a good supply? This is very important. You really need to identify a good supply. A good supply of laptops is always partial to help people to buy things they want. They shouldn't make you buy things they have. No, they should help you buy things you wanted that are in alignment to what you want. And they recommend, whatever they recommend ought to be true, not for the sake of selling, but for the sake of your opinion. And a good supplier, you have a proven record or a proof of having helped people who are happy. So you can actually have this through referrals, or you can actually check their social media platform whereby people put reviews on there so that you're actually able to see. Then help is a keyword there. A good supplier is even willing to help you use a computer so that you're able to achieve your goal. In this case, studying and passing, you know, they are just there to help you. They know why you are doing what you're doing, and they now have to help you get your goals achieved. And you know what, Ember Laptops is one of those suppliers, is the best in doing that. It has been doing this for some years, and it's ready to assist you, to take you through so that you actually know it gets to get what you need done. We have that Lenovo laptop over the corner. It's also a brand that you may consider. When you see that display with the wallpaper, which is blue, it's a Windows 11 as well. So it's something that I needed to highlight so that you can actually know. Then what to consider on buying a laptop, last one is price and quality. Price and quality were hand in hand. When something is very, very cheap, you also need to find out in terms of its quality, because when you see, you know, good products are made available at a fair price, not cheap price. Good products are always found at a fair price, not cheap price, but at a fair price, and you should be willing to pay the fair price because it also helps you. Those will be durable, they last longer, and that will actually help you. In case one's budget is not matching the price of the computer required for use, there is no harm compromising for a while and later upgrading the laptop. So sometimes we have this little money and it's not meeting in terms of the requirements that we talked about. There's no harm in buying a lower level laptop and later upgrading to a better laptop. That's basically actually how things actually work. I'm so excited we have gotten to the end of this training. Oh, this is a computer as well. When you talk about an iPhone, it's a computer because it's an electronic device, and it also receives input, processes, and processes information. But I'm so excited that we have gotten to this party, and which is the end of this presentation. And I thank you so much. I thank Ember Laptops for sponsoring this training in terms of us having it, giving us a topic, and giving us the resources that we have used to provide this training. Thank you so much, and continue to join us. Any questions so far? I didn't see any, but if you have any, please reach out to Ember Laptops. The number is 0719 645 530, or through email ember.laptops@gmail.com. The name is the same on all social media platforms. It's Ember Laptops in that way. Awesome. See you around in the next trainings. But thank you so much, and I salute you for joining us. Bye.